So let me get on this clickbait train. So yesterday, the FBI supposedly raided Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence in Florida, looking for classified documents. I don't care. The main thing behind all this is the photo that's up on screen. This is the country that we want, and frankly, this is the country that we deserve. These are two what I think are federal agents carrying AR-15s, and I don't know what supervisor thought it was a good idea to haul them out in front of the public and say, hey, we are protecting this residence from reporters or other federal agents or the mob of angry MAGA that is going to descend to help their profit out. I don't know what the thought process was. It just looked really stupid. Um, they, and by they, I mean the people that are doing this, that conducted the raid, are not operating in reality. They cannot see the forest for the trees because they are too busy attempting to confirm their worldview, to show how deep the delusion and rot are within our country. The law enforcement that conducted the raid are incompetent and ideologically biased beyond reality because anybody that wouldn't realize that they should stay away from the nuclear fucking potato that this is going to become is a moron. What's the reality? It doesn't matter anymore. If he, this case Trump, did the things that they think that he did because just like half the country thinks he's guilty, there's another side of the country, the other half, that thinks he's innocent and that regardless of the actual evidence or potential evidence, he cannot do any wrong. And I wouldn't even go as far as to say that it's half. It's more like a third of the country is ideologically too far gone on the left, and a third of the country is ideologically too far gone on the right. There's a middle third that's politically exhausted of this bullshit, and I can't say I blame them. More than anything, these people in the center do not want to play the game. The game doesn't matter to them. Their lives aren't going to change because Trump was or was not raided. They did or did not find evidence, and they can find some way to convict him or stop him from running in 2024. They, this middle third, don't care. 2 years ago, my co host and I had a conversation after the 2020 election about Trump. We decided that he was never the man, the savior, because he couldn't even predict what was going to be done to him. To be fair, very few of us could have predicted how wildly different the two sides were playing the game. The left is no longer concerned with the welfare of the country. They are actively trying to burn it down for whatever ideological reasons that they have. The right is just incompetent and impotent at this point. They have some fantasy that they are trying to protect something and wish this idea into existence. And they're unwilling to get themselves dirty to do it, which is a pretty good indication that whatever their goals are, whatever they are, ideology they have, they don't actually believe in it enough to do what needs to be done. So the question you might be wondering is, what's this going to do? Well, there's some goods and there's some bads to it. It causes the states to protect their actual citizens because at the end of the day, this isn't Donald Trump is not the president. He's not this federal bureaucrat anymore. He's a citizen of the state that he pays taxes to. Right now, if that's Florida, that's Florida. And that means a state like Florida has to decide if they're going to allow this rampant witch hunt apparatus to be able to come into their individual states and go after their citizens because they have the wrong star on their belly. This has the potential to be similar to the integration of the Alabama school systems in the 60s, but this time the federal government is the bad guy. The end of the day, we need to divest from other people who don't want to engage in good faith, i.e., not just the central government, but the people that are running it on both sides of the aisle that just want to play their partisan hackery. I would not negotiate with a liar or a thief. I know what I'm going to get if I engage in that. So until our politicians pull their funds from the Leviathan of the central government and more importantly, stop suckling off the poison tit of that same Leviathan, we the people are the ones that are condoning the actions of a political witch hunt. There's nothing that's going to come of this. They can't find a jury to honestly convict Donald Trump in this country. And if they do find a jury that will convict him, it's not going to be honest. What's the point behind this? And what's the point of doing this so publicly? I was reading around that this, whatever was going on, whatever investigation was going on when it comes to finding these potential classified documents, was already being negotiated behind the scenes. So getting it to the point where they were able, and again, they, the people that are conducting this investigation and carrying it out, they were able to write up a search warrant affidavit, take it to a judge who signed off on it, and then the supervisors of the FBI signed off on this because the good idea. Ferry said it was a good idea, just like having armed Secret Service agents standing outside pulling security. There was no way this was going to operate well, and you need to be able to walk away with such a large smoking gun that it not only perks the politically exhausted individual in the center up, it also gets the people on the far right that don't believe, or I shouldn't say far right, further on the right that don't believe that Trump is capable of doing wrong, to go, hey, there's something here that I need to care about. And the chances of you finding it, if you're conducting in good faith and reality, are so small as to be impossible, because these people on the left are politically and ideologically not going to see the forest for the trees, just like the people conducting this raid. So the good is it moves us further and further towards decentralization, which everyone should want. The inability for someone who has centralized power to wield that power against you because they don't like the color of the star on your belly. What's the bad behind this? Well, the bad is this is the country that we have, and until we decide that we're going to stop electing individuals that are going to run the country in this particular way, we're going to get the country that we deserve. And that's on both sides of the aisle. That's the Republicans allowing this to occur because they gain political power because of what the left is doing, just in the same way that the left wants this to occur because they continue to maintain political power by feeding their ideological base that wants to believe that Trump is some antichrist, some political antichrist. So, again, to understand why we need to decentralize from the central government, to actually remove these alphabet agencies whose entire purpose at this point is to try and keep themselves alive and feed themselves more in order to use more of this power in order to feed themselves more. They are Leviathan. And that goes back to care about your local elections, your school boards, and get on your city councils and your mayors about not taking state funds. Run your cities with the available cash that you generate as a city, and don't ask for the state to bail you out. In the same way that we should be looking at our state legislatures and our governors and saying, do not pay money to the Leviathan and do not accept money back from it. That's what this means. Because at the end of the day, whoever wins the next election is going to do this more. One of the Republicans came out and he said that when the Republicans win the House back in 2022, he's just going to do more political witch hunts to find out what's going on at the DOJ. That doesn't solve the problem. No one's going to go to jail over this. And if you think that they are, I got a bridge in San Francisco to sell you.